Hi, everybody. Coming to you from the KGW studios on this Thursday morning. Meteorologist Rod Hill here in the Portland, Oregon area. Hope you're doing well. You know, one of the talkers that I've seen showing up in your comments and on social media in general is a lot of you who like to look at the individual weather models, noticing that, hey, we have some warm weather coming, and absolutely growing confidence on Portland's 7-day forecast over on the left that we will see at least a 1-day heat spike, if you will, this coming Tuesday, which will be a day with an east wind that should give us clear skies, both at the coast and the valley. And in the valley, easily seeing temperatures rise up into the 80s, something we have not done in a while. And if you look at the map, you can see the strong ridging taking place, a 591 pressure contour height parked just offshore, and the ridging with the above normal pressure heights in orange arcing all over the Pacific Northwest. And if you look at the National Weather Service, their 8 to 14-day outlook, which is September 26th through October 2nd, which would be October 2nd is a week from next Wednesday, or 2 weeks from yesterday. Notice how much of the country, and certainly all of the West, is in this warm above normal temperature pattern. And I will tell you, there are models, including the American GFS, that show us maybe a little run of 80-degree temps the last few days of September into the first day of October. So more 80s to start October, question mark, question mark. And this would not be unusual. Remember, the records book actually shows 90-degree temperatures as late in Portland as October 5th. And there was just what, I think 2 Octobers ago, if my memory's right, or was it last October, that we had a run of the first half of October was 80 degrees more than it wasn't. So we've been cooling down, but there are signs that we have a little bit of warm weather that's going to come back before we fully get into the rainy season, which of course is considered to be November 1st. Now, with that said, today's weather is pretty simple on this Thursday. It's the same general pattern we had on Wednesday. Remember, yesterday, we generally went partly cloudy along the coast. We generally went partly cloudy, at least some sun in the mid-Willamette Valley and South Valley. But Portland had very little sun, and Clark County in Southwest Washington had very little sun, meaning the low clouds never really fully cleared out. And here we are this morning. Now, this was the visible satellite picture at 9:30 this morning. And remember, the visible is basically if you're up in space sitting on the satellite with a camera, you're taking a picture of the cloud cover. That's what the visible is. So it's absolutely a true look at what's going on. And in white on the map, you can see the clouds up and down the coast. And then notice we have clouds coming up the Columbia River. Follow my cursor. They come in, spill into Clark County, and they spill down the Willamette River as well, which is Portland, and then making their way down toward Salem. So notice how we have clear skies across a good chunk of Yamhill County and parts of Washington County. And I think we talked about this the other day. What this is showing you, it's a wonderful picture because it's showing you that the depth of the low clouds is not high enough or thick enough to get over the coast range. So the coast range, where you have elevations of, generally 1,500 to 3,000 feet, basically those mountains are high enough that that acts as a barrier wall and holds the marine layer off. And because of that, you still have clear skies to the east of the coast range where you see the gap right here. But remember, you have the Columbia River, which obviously is a gap in the coast range in the Willapa Hills. So that allows the marine clouds to come in, spill into Vancouver, spill down through Portland, and spill down the Willamette River. So that's what you're seeing here. I will tell you, cameras this morning show that it's clear at 1,500 feet, getting up into the Cascade. So again, that shows you that the cloud deck that we have in Portland is fairly thin. And with the clear skies eastward, here's the Dalles. You can see beautifully clear skies. You would assume that the odds of clearing today are actually quite nice. That's the only thing I'm really watching. And we will have the possibility of more morning cloudiness on Friday before we all break into sun. I did have at least a couple of requests come in wanting an update on fire activity. So let's talk about that real quick. Here's the map, the wildfire update. All of these little emblems, fire emblems, are wildfires. There are some fires burning up into north central Washington as well, but I wanted to show you this limited view because it breaks out where you can get a better look at where the fires are in Oregon. And again, fire season in Oregon has been far more active this year than it was up in Washington, but there are still more than 20 named blazes, including the individual fires in some of the complexes. So I took the time to read nearly all of the discussions for these individual blazes, and nearly all of the discussions say the same thing. Mostly slow burning, as fire activity, thanks to our cooler weather we've had in the last few days and a little bit of rain at times. The fires are showing little growth, and containment lines that have been achieved are holding. And even with some warmer weather coming next week, the fire discussions show confidence that with our longer nights and dew in the morning and the overall weather pattern that they're looking at, they expect these containment lines to hold. They expect very limited, if any, growth in any of these fires on the map. And for the most part, the larger blazes that have roughly 30% on average of containment built on them. And the discussions say the fires are going to hold where they are. They're not going to become that active, and they're going to slowly burn out in the month of October. So that's where we're at. The news is good. There's very limited wildfire smoke across our 2 states on this Thursday. Air quality numbers early this morning were moderate in Deschutes County near that Bachelor complex fire right here, which I think has burned over 10,000 acres, but holding. And the air quality numbers outside of Deschutes County where it's moderate are basically good. So at this point, I would say we're kind of where you would expect us to be. The fires that we have are not expected to grow, and everything should be burning out in the coming 4, 5, 6 weeks. All right. Quick shout out to our sponsor, the Momentous Wealth podcast. You can listen to a library of different investing topics meant to educate you on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. This is brought to you by the local firm Momentous Wealth Management. So thank you for checking out those podcasts. I've listened to a few of them, and they're really great. Okay, let's get you going with our forecast. I mentioned that the cloud deck is relatively thin and that I think everybody will clear out today, including the coast, including Portland, including Vancouver. And with that said, there are breaks in the cloud cover already in the Mid-Valley where the clouds never became solid. Here's Domain Serene Winery over the Dundee Hills, partly cloudy skies. Willamette Valley Vineyard, some cloudiness, but some breaks. And then now we're in the Portland area. There's Gresham, Persimmon Country Club, Camas. Sun River's got some fog and low clouds this morning, but generally a sunny day is coming. There's the Oregon Garden. There's some clouds down in Silverton, but there's a 1,500-foot clearing in Welch's. Oregon City, cloudy. The Gorge, Hood River, beautiful. Aspen Lakes and Sisters, beautiful. And there are the clouds at the coast in Ottercrest, showing the cloud cover. And there's the clouds in Depot Bay. So anyway, just a quick look at what's going on this morning. We expect some clearing. Here's the satellite picture in motion. You can see this band of clouds on the right. See that moving? And I want to go ahead and give you a closer look. This is the satellite picture this morning with the upper level 500 millibar flow pattern. And so we're all dry in Oregon and Washington. The one low we were watching has dropped south into California. Another low that was producing showers in eastern Oregon is now all the way over into Montana and Wyoming. That's leaving us alone. But our flow pattern for the weekend that we will be watching is right up in here. And this won't change much. You've got at least a couple weather systems. The strongest one is coming in on Sunday that will be passing into Canada and to some extent, central and northern Washington. And I still think going into Sunday, there's a chance of rain in Seattle. I don't think we will get any moisture from this flow pattern of these systems in this flow pattern passing to our north, but especially Sunday, we may get some cloudiness from that. Here's what the American GFS forecast model shows in terms of rain amounts. So this would be basically rain amounts setting up Saturday night through the day Sunday. And notice how in green, decent measurable rainfall is pretty much up near the Canadian border. This does show a little bit of light rain up down and through Seattle, 0.01, 0.02. Actually gives the chance of some traceable amounts of moisture over Long Beach, maybe Astoria, maybe into Cowlitz County. But for the most part, this will hold up to our north. And again, we will either get some Sunday cloudiness from it or we won't. I think we probably will. But just FYI, if your weekend plans take you to Seattle or farther north in Western Washington, eventually you'll probably run into getting some rain. Okay, here's that same weather model, the American GFS model. And I know this is hard to see, but it's the best tool I have to show you the flow pattern looking down the road. So watch my cursor. Here's Portland. And if you take off your glasses or put them on and stare, you can see in brown the U.S. map. There's the coast of Washington, Oregon. Here's the state line. And there we are in Portland. So this is Sunday morning. See the trough right here? This is that system that would give us cloudiness, I think, to some degree spilling down from the north on Sunday and a chance of rain showers up around Seattle. Here's Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. See how it mainly passes to our north. Here's the rain dry line, the pressure contour at 576. Remember that one model showed there could be some traces of rain around Astoria and maybe in Cowlitz County? That's because you folks are right on that 576 pressure contour line, which tends to be the dry, wet line often when it terms of migratory fronts coming through. Better chance of rain the farther north you go. Okay, and then we get into fall. Of course, 5:43 a.m. is the autumnal equinox Sunday morning. That's the start of fall for Portland. It looks like the first full day of fall, Monday, is going to be nice. Here is, let me just play. This is Monday afternoon at 5 p.m. right here. Notice ridging. See the high and the 588 contour? This is strong ridging that quickly develops Sunday. We should have sun. Temperatures could hit 80 on Monday. I've got us at 77. And then the one day that we feel like confidence is almost full at this point that we will hit 80 next week is Tuesday. Here's that ridge moving inland, California, Nevada, arcing into Oregon and Washington, 582 contour height. This shows a west flow aloft, but east winds at the surface, and that will get us up into the 80s. Now, just a one-day heat up or warm up, because on Wednesday, notice what happens. We get here's Wednesday afternoon at 5 p.m. There's a front with this. Notice 580, yeah, it's there we are. We're at a 576 contour. So with a little bit of energy with the front coming in at later in the afternoon, Wednesday of next week, I feel there's at least a chance of some rain in Portland. Maybe not as far as Salem. Likely rain at times up into Seattle. This is Wednesday of next week. And then Thursday's probably still a little bit cool, but then notice what happens going into the weekend. We still have this big high over Nevada and California. This is Friday of next week. This is Friday, September 28th. Then we play this into Saturday, which will be the 20. I'm sorry, I got my dates wrong. This is Saturday, the 28th. Friday would have been the 27th. Here's Saturday, the 28th. That's a week from this weekend. Big high over Utah and Idaho and the ridging where we are. This modeling is indicating we could be back up in the 80s for maybe 2 or 3 days, the last weekend of September going into the first days of October. So we'll see if any of that comes true. Okay, let's start with Seattle. Our forecast, 66 today, 64 tomorrow, 68 Saturday. And I think that's more than a slight chance of rain up in Seattle on Sunday. I like their chances of getting some moisture up there. And then when Portland warms into the 80s next Tuesday, Seattle's at 73. Okay. What about Central Oregon? These are current temperatures in the 9 o'clock hour this morning on this Thursday. Beautiful day. We saw Sun River had some low clouds or fog this morning, but sun is coming. Been 77 today. A dry weekend in the 70s. 85 next Tuesday, 83 next Wednesday. There's that warm up that we talked about coming our direction. What about down in Medford? 85 today, 80s and dry through the weekend. And look at Medford next Tuesday, that warm up 94. Good grief. All right. Let's check out Salem. All dry through the weekend. 77 Saturday, 79 Sunday. And here's the warm up. Monday, 82. Again, I have Portland at 77, but maybe 80 on Monday. And then upper 80s on Tuesday. And then there's that front with that chance of showers slight later in the day and cooling back down on Wednesday of next week. North Bend, I know some of you watch these videos from that direction. This shows basically partly to mostly sunny skies through the weekend, temps in the 60s. Look at the warm day on Tuesday, 71, and then cooling back down on Wednesday. Let's see what Astoria shows. Let's see here. Chance of showers on Sunday in Astoria, yes. Chance of showers next Wednesday, yes, in Astoria. I concur with that. I agree. In fact, here's Portland 7-day, courtesy of Hazeldale Tire Pro. 73 today, clouds to sun. Clouds to sun again tomorrow. Saturday, kind of partly cloudy. Sunday, some cloudiness, but we stay dry with a shower chance up to our north. And then look at that warm Tuesday, 85 in Portland. And then I think we will hold in the 70s in Portland Wednesday of next week, with that front coming in late day, giving us at least a chance of a late day evening PM shower. And that is your update. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. It helps me out. And for now, coming from the Portland, Vancouver area, I will talk to you soon. The website I use here is my own that I own and operate, portlandweather.com. I'll talk to you soon.